Okay, guys, I apologize. This may come off a little negative. I'm going to try very hard not to be judgmental or say anything mean or tell anybody that they're doing anything wrong. But I've thought about this for like a day. And you know what? I believe I have every right to question anybody, especially friends on Facebook that like I actually know and have known for many years, or that I know are aware of what's been going on in my life in the last 8 months. I have the right to question you, or to wonder, or to think you need to be educated on some things when you are spending your time, I guess, trying to be a social justice warrior from behind the computer screen, sharing articles, outraged about a jacket that the president's wife wore to something to do with the issue going on with the border and undocumented parents being separated from their children. I have every right to wonder how you could possibly even have the time to be outraged by that, or to read or send any sort of dog, sorry. They're very upset. How could you send anything like that out while never ever sending Jolene any of my links out? Sorry. Never. She's very upset, you guys. Never even personally messaging me saying, hey, girl, that sucks. Never posting anything that has nothing to do with me or my family that has to do with CPS kidnapping and what's happening to not only American citizen parents across the country, but particularly what is happening to victims, domestic violence victims, who are being told they are so negligent that they are not allowed to have their children, and many times get their rights terminated because they didn't leave. Do you understand how wrong that is? It's, one, illegal, unconstitutional, and it's fucked up. We don't have a choice. We didn't just stay because we loved him. It was you stay or you die, or you stay or your children die, or just like what's happening now, you leave and you try to do the right thing, but he's so powerful and he's so good at abusing you that he can do it through court litigation, that you wind up losing your children and losing your custody because you don't have enough money, and because the family court system is not set up to support or help protective mothers like me, and to keep young children out of the hands of abusive men or women, emotionally or physically, but in this case both, who have yet to be held accountable whatsoever for their past actions and violence. I have every right to say, how dare you? How dare you? You're so angry about these border people. Not border people, that sounds terrible. This is awful stuff happening, I agree, but what about me? I'm not the same actually, but I'm the same mother and parent that you're advocating for right now and crying over, and my children are those same children that you're talking about. No, they're not in cages. No, they're not brown, but they were taken from their parent, their safe, non-criminal, legal citizen parent, not only for no reason, but to punish her for not leaving a severely and consistently domestically abusive relationship in every single way that she was stuck in for 3 years, solely to protect her children because the state wouldn't. What? I'm sorry. This is ridiculous, isn't it? This is the same thing that you are just this week talking about, because it has to deal with the border, I guess, or because for some reason when it's right in front of you, when it's on my own blog, when it's in your news feed, you don't see it, or you don't care, or it doesn't matter. But when it's national news, and when it's minorities, or they're not white, or maybe is it just because the cages are involved? What is it? Why didn't you post anything of mine? Why weren't you there last week at my march when I was by myself? And how dare you, Samantha? The hatred you spewed when I I'm sorry, maybe not gently, it was a little aggressive, I'll give you that, shared that I was disgusted at your disgust over a jacket, when not once have you done anything to share my story or even show any empathy. And then, well, it's because apparently you believe I deserved it, that was self-inflicted. I don't know. Jolene doesn't like it either. Hey, it's okay. We gotta be cool. You can't be like angry bitch like that, because then nobody listens to you. Anyway, it doesn't make sense. If you're one of those people that I'm sharing articles of like the situation happening at home, to combat, I guess, your post about the border thing, like, I hope you know that's not in any bad spirit. Like, Abba, I think you're a great writer, love the post, but it's just kind of like a, hey, don't forget us, hey, could you maybe write an article about what's happening here and has been for 20 years and has been affecting my family for the last 8 months? Like, do you realize I can't sleep some nights because I miss my children so badly that the second I close my eyes, I see and hear the very little I can remember, because it's been almost 2 weeks that I have seen or heard them or seen pictures or talked to them over the phone. But nobody cares about that. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Please write a story about us. Like, maybe once they take care of the border stuff, once y'all are satisfied with how illegal undocumented Americans are being, how consequences are being given out to them. Like, again, I don't agree with it, but I'm an American citizen. There was no reason for my children to be stolen. They were stolen. They were kidnapped just like these families. Except, again, I'm a citizen. I did nothing wrong. It's been 8 months, and I have 8 hours with my children a week. And in a few months, I'm probably going to be in a jury trial where my rights will be up. I will be fighting so they do not terminate my rights forever to my children who were stolen from me. Why don't you care about that? Why don't you share my posts? But you do share, and this is to anyone who's sharing it or anyone who's paid any special attention to this border crisis than they have to my crisis, or to people like Mitch or Taylor Dowdy or anyone who supports them in banning me from just sitting and quietly listening and supporting and laughing at my fellow comics. Like, do you understand that I would rather be in atmospheres where the majority of the people there that I know and have known for several years, or at least several months now, hate me? I'd rather be there so I can laugh and just be outside of my really sad apartment where I spend hours and hours and hours a day with no pay, researching domestic violence, child custody, writing emails that are ignored to advocates who are actively working to keep my kids from me, who actively work to minimize his abuse. Do you know? Do you know what my day is like? Do you know what it's like to not have your children because you are abused? How is this kind of thing happening to me when I'm just like those families? Yet they get all of this attention, which they should. It's a big deal, and they get all of this sympathy. And I don't think Samantha Lawrence or her mom would say anything near what they said to me today, that to these victims. So why do you say it to me? Why do you ban me from places for no reason when you know, or you've got to know what not only I'm going through right now, but what I've been through the last 3 years, or even just alone that I got raped by a comic and everyone ignored it. Like, why is it okay? I don't get it. Or why is it ignored? I know I've asked a lot of questions. I tend to do that. But if anyone wants to entertain me on any of the questions I've asked or any of the ideas that I've presented, I'm like 99.9% sure I have every right to be offended and question anybody who advocates and posts for this border crisis but has never once shared any blog post of mine or even reached out and said, hey, how are you doing? Because I cannot imagine the pain you're going through. Please share. Let's talk. Let's discuss. Let's be kind and pay attention to the injustices and the kidnapping that's happening in your city, in everyone's city, across the nation, and has been for the last 20 years for profit. Whatever. I'm angry. Feminist Friday.